Fang 45 is the newest SMG added to Modern Warfare Remastered. You get this by completing the collection associated with it by like buying the parts with scrap or just opening them in drops. The quirk to this weapon is that the first 5 shots of a burst fire faster and then the following shots are slower, so you just gotta keep bursting this weapon to get the maximum DPS out of it. The Boss 14 had a similar mechanic to like incentivize bursting, but I feel like this gun relies much more on bursting than the Boss 14 does. The Boss 14's increased damage is nice, but it's still a good gun without that, whereas the Fang 45 really suffers if you're not getting the maximum fire rate. Starting off with damage, this weapon will kill in 3 to 5 shots without stopping power, or 3 to 4 with stopping power. So there is a case to be made for it not having stopping power, but that 3-hit kill range is very, very short. So if you don't have stopping power, you're really going to be killing in 4 to 5 shots most of the time. And if you do have stopping power, it's going to be 4 shots most of the time. So I tend to run stopping power on this, and I tend to run into a lot of Juggernaut users, so I do like having stopping power. Although if you want to use something like Juggernaut or UAV Jammer, you could definitely get away with it on this weapon because it's very similar shots to kill, and it's not a very high damage weapon as it is. The RPM, which is the most important thing with this weapon, is 1000 for the first 5 shots in a burst, and then 750 for the following shots. So it goes from the highest RPM SMG to the slowest, and that you really notice it, and you really need to take advantage of the bursting. That's another reason why the low damage is irritating with this weapon, because if you're often killing in 4 shots, that's kind of like the median number. You need all of the, like, 4 shots out of the burst to hit, so you're rarely going to be able to perfectly kill in 1000 RPM and, like, only use the 1000 RPM and never have to be at the 750 range. Sure, it'll happen sometimes, but it's very, very uncommon, and that makes this weapon feel very weak. This weapon does have 0 idle sway, and since with stopping power a max 4-hit kill at range, you could use this as, like, a medium long-range SMG, but I feel like this playstyle is just better off using, like, the M4. Like, I feel like the M4 accomplishes, like, a similar thing, which is like a medium to long range weapon, kind of closing that gap between assault rifle and SMG. I would put this weapon and the M4 in like the same category there, but I say the M4 definitely edges it out just because it's a lot easier to use. Another interesting thing about this weapon is that silencer only affects the maximum damage range, so it only limits that 3-hit kill range, which we already discussed is very low. So you could definitely get away with running a silencer on this weapon, and definitely, like, since you could get away without stopping power, you could easily use like a silencer UAV jammer class. And I have tried this, but the iron sights on this gun are so shitty that I don't know, I hate using the iron sights on this gun, so I would rather just use the red dot. And then try to use like the medium range playstyle that I talked about earlier. With this weapon, for what is a medium to long range for like an SMG, you're going to want to be burst firing anyway. So that's why I think this is definitely a range that you can use this weapon, because you need to burst fire this weapon for it to be very effective. The other option is to have it in close range. Like, you'll see a lot of this gameplay, I'm on vacant, so it's obvious, like, naturally a lot of close range fights, and if you hit your first 3 shots, like if your aim is on, then you're definitely going to be killing people very fast, and the gun is going to be very good and it's going to feel very consistent. But if you can't, like, if you're not able to limit all your encounters to close range, and you don't have very good first bullet accuracy, then I feel like this weapon won't be as good for you, and that you could just be better off using something like the MP5 or the AK-74U. Similar to the Deagle, in my opinion, it really relies on first bullet accuracy to really take advantage of its strengths. Since you need to kill in the first 5 shots and the medium damage is 4, or 4 shots to kill, if you're missing like 2 to 3 shots, you're gonna have to stop shooting and then reburst, or just keep shooting at a slower RPM, and both of these like drastically increase your time to kill and give the other options a lot of chances to like catch up to you. But if you have like your first shots on point, you're just gonna instantly kill them because you have a very, very fast, like, high RPM weapon that has high damage in its range. Another option you could go for these close range maps, and I think this is what I might end up doing for like a map like Vacant, for example, is putting double tap on. It does increase the recoil substantially, but I think it'll put it upwards to like 1200 RPM, so you're going to be melting people very, very quick. If you keep them in that 3-hit kill range and you're hitting your shots first bullet accuracy, like I said, you're just going to be melting people very fast. Similar to the Vesper from Black Ops 3, I think that's how it would feel. You're just going to be melting people very quickly, and they're not really going to have much choice of what they do because they're just going to die. But obviously, this is a very high skill playstyle you need to have. You need to have good first bullet accuracy, and obviously be able to control the recoil, because the recoil does get pretty high if you are using double tap on this weapon. I like that this weapon has a lot of different like playstyles you can, and like strategies to use it that you could employ, but overall my favorite is just to use stopping power in a red dot sight and try to play for like medium range and try to take advantage of the bursting. Or you could, like I said, use the double tap strategy. I think that would be the best, is either a stopping power medium range or double tap close range. Either of those two things you could really play around and make this weapon much more effective. Like I said, I do like this weapon and how it you can have a lot of different strategies with it. Like you could do the stealth, you could do the double tap, or you could just do the straight up damage route. But overall, if I wanted to have a good game and wanted to use just a top tier SMG, I think that I would still just go to the MP5 and not this gun. This gun is way too inconsistent, way too like niche on how you have to use it. Like you have to be bursting it, and if you don't kill in those first 5 shots, your time to kill is drastically increased. Whereas with the MP5, you don't have to worry about that. Another bad thing about this gun is if you run into multiple people, you're obviously going to have to burst them, where with like a normal gun, you could just spray them down and have a very easy time dealing with them. With this gun, if you go into the 750 RPM, you're definitely going to get killed. And then maybe if you have perfect bursts, you could get out of it, but I don't know. It's just way too inconsistent and way too like weird on how you have to, very like specific place strategy you have to employ with like the bursting aspect that I really don't like it. If they made it to where like the slower RPM was a little bit faster, then maybe I could use this one. Like if it was more close to the MP5 or the 74 use fire rate, I could definitely see myself using this gun more. But as it is now, I just really don't like using it just because it is way too inconsistent. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and if you saw this video and my Boss 14 video, please let me know which style of video you liked more, because I did them both kind of differently and I would like to see what I should do going forward.